we were walking around town all day because there's been this volcano thing happening.
Yeah, we went to.
And there's a philosophical vibe in the air. So we felt like posing a question for everybody in Antigua, different kinds of people, and it's a basic question. It doesn't matter what you answer because every answer is right. So the question is...
It's an easy question.
It's an easy question.
It could be any answer. Well, here, come up here.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Cheers, my friend.
I'm slightly scared, but also intrigued. David?
Where are you from?
Melbourne, Australia.
Chris from Melbourne as well.
So, if you could ask a question to like everyone in the world, what question would you ask them?
I was gonna go, what's your favorite fruit?
Why do you hate what you don't know?
I just got too many questions, you know.
Question to ask the whole damn world.
One question for everyone.
Where is the best falafel place?
This question marks terrify me, so I'm just not even ask questions. So how can I write it down?
No, you can't write it down. It's a podcast.
If you know what a Smurf is, what Smurf would you be?
We want to leave it broad. If we got specific, people would get angry.
Now, if you were to ask a question for humanity, the whole of humanity, what would be your question?
¿Por qué? Esa sería la pregunta mía. ¿Por qué tanta gente? ¿Por qué tanta violencia? ¿Por qué tan poco amor? ¿Por qué tanta...
¿Por
qué?
I can't answer.
It means whatever you want it to mean. So it's a little vague.
What makes you happy?
What's your name?
Peter.
Where are you from?
San Diego, California.
What?
Don't ask me questions.
Why? Just one.
I don't like these.
No, but even if it's bad, it might make for good radio.
No.
Ask one question to everyone in the world. What question would you ask them?
Are you open to change? Because this is a time of change. Nothing will be the same after 2012. So, are you open to this new energy?
No, I got one right now.
Okay.
If you could eat any crayon in a Crayola crayon box of 64 colors, which crayon would it be?
Good
that's a
question.
That's gonna be the best one, I think.
This came to me.
What color would you eat, though?
You know, Tickle Me Pink
Tickle Me Pink?
has always been something that I've wanted to try.
You kind of get the right answers. The answers you're looking for.
You're listening to Rabble Rouse the World, the podcast. I'm your host, Luke Armstrong. For your daily fix of art, culture, and humor, please visit our website, rabblerousetheworld.com. A few days ago, my friend Weves and I wandered around Antigua, Guatemala, asking everyone we met the same question.
If you could ask one question for the whole of humanity, what would your question be?
If you could ask the whole world one question, what would that question be? People from all over the world had come to Antigua, Guatemala that day to climb the volcano Agua in an effort to raise awareness for domestic violence. And I asked a few friends if they wanted to walk around town with me recording interviews that day.
I'm not going to force you guys to make this podcast.
I want to do it,
But
but
it's
I'm
going to be
so
the first podcast for Rabble Rouse the World ever.
I'm feeling retarded.
But here's the thing. Here's what we can do anything we want. There's going to be people from this volcano thing. We could ask people like something, I don't know, it's maybe lame, it's cool in my mind. We could ask them if they're happy. If they say yes, ask them why. Or we could say like, hey, if you could ask everyone in the world one question, what would you ask them? Whatever.
My friends were battling a hangover from the night before.
I mean, we can get you like a drink to help you be less hungover. I also have some special magical hangover cures that like this activity. There's a hangover cure.
I was like,
I'm meeting Webbers right now in the park. He's coming.
And they really tried.
I feel like I trapped you now. You're gonna walk away. You know that part in Transformers where they're like, would you wish 50 years from now that you'd gotten in the car? This is like
I didn't walk away from Luke McGuire Armstrong on that day.
This is like one of those moments though. And both of you guys have such amazing personality.
I need to eat.
Let's go eat. This way. But if I lose track of you guys, you might disappear.
Yeah, they disappeared. But Weves appeared.
What's up, dude?
So what are we doing with the guitar?
Well, this is just related, but we could use it anytime. What's up? Nice to meet you.
And I explained my idea to him.
It was shaking today. It was
Yeah, it was a long earthquake.
Yeah, I can't believe everybody who was going up there was thinking, yeah, we did this.
Or we could ask people, like, if they could ask everyone in the world one question, what question would they ask them? That way we'll get, like, a variety of answers.
Hueves got on board. So first we interviewed Freddie. And Freddie asked,
¿Qué harían para resolver la corrupción en el mundo?
what would you do to solve the corruption in the world?
Exactamente.
After Freddie, we interviewed a Danish couple who had just arrived.
We just arrived today.
If you guys could ask a question to, like, everyone in the world, like the whole world, what question would you ask?
Yeah.
What is it?
That's a big question.
A big one?
Yeah.
It's only like one sentence.
Yeah. Do you have one?
Yeah, it's coming.
Slowly.
Here, state your name and where you're from, maybe.
Andreas from Denmark.
Josephine from Denmark.
You guys are traveling to Antigua together?
Yeah.
Nice.
We're traveling, the whole of Guatemala, maybe Honduras, and some Mexico.
Okay. And you guys a couple?
Yes.
Okay. Then maybe you might be his daughter, I don't know.
His mom.
Sometimes. What will it take for peace in the world?
What will it take for peace in the world?
Yeah.
Next, Hueves interviewed a man wearing what can only be described as a pimp suit.
Si tuvieras una pregunta para acrecentar la conciencia, una pregunta para lanzar al mundo que pudiera cambiar la forma como entendemos nuestra vida en este planeta, ¿cuál sería? ¿Estás despierto?
Are you awake?
After a few interviews in the park, we decided it was time for a lunch break. So we went to a hostel called Jungle Party, where a lot of young travelers stay, hang out, and eat. On the way, we interviewed 3 Guatemalans handing out flyers, and all 3 asked the same question. Why is there so much violence in the world?
La pregunta es, si tuvieras una pregunta que hacerle a la humanidad, ¿cuál sería?
¿Por qué tanta violencia en este mundo?
¿Por qué tanta violencia?
¿Por qué qué?
¿Por qué tanta violencia en Guatemala?
At the hostel, everyone seemed to be still recovering from the night before, but that didn't stop us from asking anyone who would talk to us our question.
What's your name and where are you from?
Sheridan Fergus from New Zealand.
And if you could ask a question to everyone in the world, what question would you ask them? She's standing here smoking a cigarette looking confused, so you can visualize it. Now she's kind of walking away, but kind of not, so we don't know if she's going to answer it or not.
Probably not. Wesley, if there was a question you could ask the whole world, what would it be?
She's phoning a friend for this now.
Give us a question.
Answer a question with a question. That's the answer.
Because that's the question's asking for.
Answer yet.
Giant.
The favorite place you've been in the entire world?
Where's the cheese?
What's your favorite pub in the world?
Are you ready for some football?
A Salvadorian girl who looked far too young to be traveling alone asked the question, what would happen if you died today? Would you go to heaven or would you go to hell?
¿Qué pasaría si se muere el día de hoy? ¿A dónde se va? ¿Al cielo o al infierno?
Okay. ¿Y nombre?
Andrea.
Siobhan from Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne, Australia. A lot of Aussies in this podcast so far.
Yeah, they travel a lot. I don't know. Did anyone? You guys have had time to think about these.
Tragic, happy, glad, moderate, neutral, partisan.
Probably ask them if they voted for their president or leader of their country.
What's the question?
If they voted for their leader of their country.
That's good.
That is. The one question is, if you could ask any question to everyone in the world, what question would you ask?
How often does everyone shower? How often does everyone shower?
What do you want me to say?
Listening to this now on tape, it sounds like we were torturing this girl with our question, and, well, maybe we were.
So, if you could ask a question to everyone in the world, what question would you ask?
No, please don't make me ask this kind of question.
I can't make you.
You're not recording, right?
We're recording it.
Actually, it's not an answer. You're posing a question.
Yeah. What question would you pose to the whole world?
I don't know.
Okay, we won't make you.
Huh?
We won't make you.
Okay, don't make me.
Okay, it's alright.
Where are you from?
I'm from the States.
And you?
Guatemala.
Really? Español, ¿no? Habla español.
Sí, claro.
When was the last time you did what you really wanted to do?
When was the last time that you saw a unicorn?
My partner in crime that day, Webace, is a pretty popular musician around town. And before we headed off to our next stop, he took out a guitar and started singing a song about asking questions.
And I say we set ourselves to question some questions, and how is somebody going to answer something when it's a question what we are expecting for? And people have no answers, maybe they have some questions to be made. And if we feel like everything is said, then make a question, we'll find out there's plenty more to see, plenty more to know. And in the era of awakening, information is a capital, and people are chasing it all through and through. Infotainment is just around the corner, and we're making it through.
It was dark by the time we left the hostel, and we decided it was time to head out to the bars and see what people there had to say. Along the way, we saw some kids in the Central Park running through a cloud of bubbles, and they asked,
¿Cuál fue su aventura mayor en la vida?
Buena pregunta, What was your best adventure in life?
Buena pregunta.
Pregunta cuál fue su
mayor aventura en su vida?
Muy bien.
Buena pregunta.
what's the biggest adventure that you've ever had in your entire life? Their father had a bit more solemn of a question to ask.
¿Por qué nosotros mismos nos explotamos?
Why do we exploit ourselves?
Porque nunca vamos a conseguir igualdad o la paz mundial si siempre va a existir la explotación del hombre por el hombre.
We are never going to have equality or world peace if one man exploits another man.
An indigenous woman with a colorful hand-woven dress asked a similar solemn question.
Sí, pues lo que pasa, ¿verdad?, es que allá el volcán, ¿verdad?, se subió bastantes personas, ¿verdad?
On top of the volcano, lots of people climbed.
Según, pues, ¿verdad?, de que más que todo el año que pasó, pues, fue asesinada una señora ahí, ¿verdad? Y entonces, y sus hijos también desaparecidos, ¿verdad? Entonces, más que todo es por eso que esa actividad que hay acá en el parque.
Last year a woman was murdered and her kids disappeared. That's why we have this activity.
Para que la violencia, ¿verdad?, pare, que ya no... Más que todo, pues, que las mujeres, pues, tanto como ladinos y indígenas, ¿verdad?, de que no sean agredidos por el esposo, ¿verdad?
I would ask that violence to stop. More than anything, I would ask that mixed blood and indigenous women aren't marginalized by their husband.
Es lamentable, ¿verdad?, de que en otros lugares se surjan así problemas entre familiares, así con la esposa, que la esposa es despreciada. Más que todo es el machismo, ¿verdad?, que surge no solo aquí en Guatemala, sino que es a nivel mundial, ¿verdad?
It is unfortunate that in these other areas that there are problems of domestic violence. In the machismo attitude that causes violence, not just here in Guatemala, but worldwide.
We walked into a bar off the park where we met
Dirk Diggler from New York City.
If you could ask Dirk Diggler, the whole world, one question, what question would you ask them?
Who wants to bang?
We wound up at a table of colorful expats where, well, I'll just let you listen.
Better than what fucking hostel you're staying at. Where are you going after here? Or where are you from? In something approximating English.
One.
No, it was a fucking...
Are you coming for my French lesson? No, what? It's not the question I want to ask.
You have one question to ask the whole world, and you ask that one. So,
who in your family you hate the most?
He said that.
Okay, yeah.
why do you feel that the fact that you have an early morning shuttle precludes you from drinking like a man?
I like that question.
Heidi.
Who in the family do you hate the most?
I'm not going to answer that, but...
Why is it that no one thinks my solution to Palestine won't work?
Okay, I have a question.
Years ago I could have solved that had I been born there.
Okay, if we made...
Why do you think you own the country because you're American?
Asking all the world that.
But
That was like a Freudian slip. I didn't mean to ask that question.
Can you stop yourself from making a hippie genocide in San Pedro?
No, worldwide, you're stupid.
Why
a
is Rio's
question you
mom
would like to
dead?
ask 6 billion people.
Yeah, I would like to ask them.
They don't know where
They
San
will go to
Pedro
the
is.
Quesiton for the end of the world because all the ceremonies are going to take place there. You're going to commit a hippie genocide.
we can put all this on
Is
there,
the world
right?
gonna end?
Is the world
Think about it. A question to ask 6 billion people, and you're yelling retarded.
Do you believe in yourself?
Okay.
Good question.
We got that. We can put all of the fighting online, right? No one's up.
Fucking problem with that at all.
Okay, good. That's pretty much...
I've got a question.
All right.
Why is Neil wearing a really tight blue?
Looks like sausage meat.
Why do you hate French people so much?
That's easy.
Would you like an outline or turn that off and I'll throw that in the fucking water?
Do I look like a seal? I think not.
No, you don't have the scar tissue on your face.
For a man who actually, I want to get a ball for your nose.
Are you sure that last night the Guatemalan woman was actually a woman?
You're going to ask that at
You
the
ask
girl.
to understand what we're looking for.
I thought I did
Who is
when I
going
asked
to
a
be the
simple
pig?
question like, who in your...
I mean, you can play the game, ask any question you want of anyone. This is not
All
the
right,
game we're
what
playing.
question would you like to ask the entire world? Try again, maybe even clockwise this time.
Yeah, I like that.
Why in the fuck are we fighting?
We kind of wanted to stay at that table all night, but we did eventually leave. But we're joined from the bar by Richard.
And I hope that this gentleman is just absolutely most wonderful.
They're not banging. They're roommates.
Y'all are brother and sister?
No, roommates.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
You seem to be a bit embarrassed now.
You don't have to be embarrassed.
I can only say that congratulations for the most extraordinary roommate. You are single?
Yeah, they're not
Any
banging.
single man could ever have.
You guys know Richard?
A very foolish guy. If you haven't already noticed.
Did you ask a question yet?
Oh yeah, I did.
What was your question?
Why can't we all be friends?
It's a good one.
Just joined us. I'm married.
If you only had one question to ask the whole world, what would it be?
Where are my cookies?
That's a good question.
I like it.
Oh yeah. Do you have a question?
Why?
That's your question.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Repeat it again.
Why?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay.
Movement. We're looking for volunteers. Y'all could be part of it, just like me. I just joined.
But I don't speak English.
Okay. So we'll start with you, Jess. If you could ask a question to the whole world,
Everyone, what question would you ask?
Can I think about it for a few minutes before answering?
Question already.
That was the question.
All right, so if you, what's your name? Carlin. Where are you from? Carolyn from North Carolina. If you could ask a question to everyone in the world, what question would you ask? This is Annie Lebenhertz. Lebenheim.
Leopards.
Leopards. Annie Leopards from New York.
Baltimore.
From Baltimore.
When was the last time that you saw a unicorn?
I
Big question.
Third time today it's been called a big question.
It is the big question.
What would a little question be, though?
Yeah, but it's really not a big question either. It's a fun night. It's Saturday. It's just what comes off the top of your head. So maybe the idea is if you ask somebody what is a question and they answer, you mean I need to ask a question to the world? Then we let them ask the question.
We continued on into the night to ask our question, and as the night grew later, the answers we received became different. We're standing outside a popular Irish pub waiting to get in because they're at capacity, and we're asking people waiting in the line our question.
Now, if you were to ask a question for humanity, the whole of humanity, what would be your question?
I have no idea. I have no idea what I would ask. I think I would ask what they did with their life to make a difference.
How do you know that you are talking with the real people?
Okay, where will you be in 5 years?
Which language do you speak?
We just haven't figured out the question yet. No, because I feel like humanity could never agree on one answer.
This next guy didn't like our question at all, and he told us, quite frankly, that we should get a better question.
Doing anything.
I'm not sure. What is it exactly that you...
Whatever you want. There's no wrong answer. It's a question.
It's a question for what?
What question would you say to all of the world?
Hey, Bray, it's me. Let's catch up.
Last chance.
For what exactly? I don't understand what the
If you had a question for humanity, what would your question be like? What would your question?
For humanity?
Yeah.
I refuse to ask questions of abstract concepts. I don't ask questions of God. I don't ask questions of humanity.
So what would you ask?
It's ridiculous to ask questions.
Why don't you do it non-abstract? Like who didn't flush the toilet?
Let me ask you, for example, why in the world would you be interested in some random human being standing in line for a fucking bar, which I'm not getting into, to question humanity on its moral struggles? It's ridiculous. I wouldn't do it. Humanity doesn't exist. The idea that humanity exists is a bit of a silly thing. Humanity doesn't exist. There are various little fucking tribes that exist that have all sorts of little personal interests. But humanity, this is a kind of like, you know, a concept developed in Europe, you know, by fucking Erasmus that doesn't really exist. But it's a nice, beautiful thing like Santa Claus. You know, I don't fucking, I refuse to ask a question of a fucking invisible being, right? Like I don't want to ask questions of God. I refuse to ask a question of humanity. You see what I'm saying? But you should, what you need is a better question. For example,
we're looking for it.
Yeah, you need a better question.
What's the better question?
Why is the weather so good here? For example, because it's a question with an answer. What you need is a question with
What's the answer?
From here, things got intense.
Them that question.
Somebody got shot in front of Dean's house.
Really?
Yeah.
Just now?
3 hours.
Right over there? They got what?
A guy got shot.
Where?
In front of Dean's house.
Right now?
Or was it a friend of Dean's?
No, it was 2 hours ago.
We should ask them that question. Would you ask the world?
Why is the world so fucked up?
Why are you so fucked up?
What the fuck are you doing right now? And I hope you're doing it well.
How much do I have to pay you all to kill yourselves? Why?
How can we stop the cycle of rich and poor?
Why you don't accept the rest of the people?
Why don't people care more?
¿Cuál es nuestro propósito aquí en la Tierra?
¿Cuál es nuestro objetivo y qué es lo que queremos lograr aquí?
I would ask the world, why do we not have peace right now?
Not imagine to talk to other people, but it's pretty hard. What did other people say? Which country would you love to live in, or would you prefer to live in?
Why are you having babies? Oh, you put me on the spot here. Give me a second. Why haven't you killed yourself yet?
My name's Tim Fraser, and I want to ask the world how many 69s you've had in your lifetime.
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. What's your question, bro? What's your question, bro? You asked for a repeat. What's your question?
Why are Gengars so discriminated against?
I got saved from it. That's a serious question. I'm going to judge you no matter what you say.
Tus bocinas nunca van a ser tan fuertes que todo el mundo te escuchara, ¿va?
Why God?
¿Cómo hacer que los hombres sean fieles?
Why so guarded?
¿Cómo se cura el cáncer?
La mía sería, ¿por qué logramos hacer que estemos tan jodidos?
The last guy asks, how did we manage to get so screwed up? What surprised me most about all this was how seriously people took our question. Even though Webes and I were just two guys walking around recording people with my iPod Touch, no one brushed us off. People thought long and hard about their question. People seemed to sense that in answering the question, they were saying something bigger. They were saying something about who they as people are. Because let's face it, none of us are ever going to pose a question to the whole world. But that doesn't stop us from imagining what question we would ask if we could.
What do you fight for?
Are you happy?
Have any mezcal?
Favorite color? Where's the love?
How's my hair?
What is the most important thing in your life and why?
I would ask why don't you practice something creative more often?
What's expecting that question?
There's no wrong answer.
Sure, no, of course. I'm just trying to think of something good. What would I ask humanity?
What is the meaning of life?
To the entire world?
Yeah.
I don't want to answer that. I don't know. My answer is going to be dumb. What if I'm a stupid person? My name's Kelsey.
And he is?
Calvin.
And you?
We love everything.
I need to think about that.
¿Qué te haría feliz?
What would make you happy?
Es que solo una es difícil, pero esperando.
I've never did that. Tyler, from North Dakota. I recently went on a spirit journey, and this is the first time I've ever filmed anything. I walked into the jungle, I got dropped off by a boat, and I spent 8 days going crazy all by myself. It was a hell of an experience, I guess.
Estamos todos.
Is this everyone?
First of all, thank you for being at the cargo room. This is Lex Cargo. And basically the question that I will ask the world, and it will fit beautifully individually, will be, do you know yourself? And if so, do you love yourself?
¿Por qué estamos como estamos?
Why are we the way that we are?
Para mí las preguntas es de lo más importante que usamos para crecer.
We need to have questions to be able to learn.
Entonces cualquier pregunta que no tengamos la respuesta me ocasiona cosquillas.
Questions that I don't have the answer to allow me to grow.
¿Por qué no pregunta más? ¿Y por qué no hay más preguntas? Cuando hay preguntas hay crecimiento, hay respuestas, hay comunicación.
So I would ask the world, why don't we ask more questions?
Thank you for listening to Rabble Rouse the World, the podcast. Please check out our website at www.rabblerousetheworld.com.